morning. This is Priscilla Nyenator on a new day on Focus on Liberia. On New Day is a program where we discuss gender equality or gender justice in our societies. Our conversations cover sexual gender based violence, identifying root causes, and seeking ways to address that and related issues by harnessing healthy and generally acceptable traditional values, systems, and practices, healthy religious values and practices, as well as practical global values and systems for women and girls' equal rights. We hope that these kind of conversations will contribute to a change in mindset and attitude about women and girls' human rights and lead to a shift in our culture of impunity. Today, on a new day, we have the ambassadors of hope from the Pink Umbrella. Is a South African based organization of amazing women changing lives and contributing to democracy in the beautiful and great country of South Africa. Thank you for joining us, ladies. I really would like to introduce you, but I believe that I'm not going to be able to do justice. So I'm going to ask you one at a time to introduce yourself, starting with Esther.
My name is thank you, Priscilla. My name and thank you very much for having me here. My name is Maizi Nkwali. I was born Esther Mkhwanazi. Nkwali is my clan name. Maizi is my pen name because I'm a writer. I'm writing poetry and short stories. When you Google Maizi Nkwali, you'll find some of my work. Professionally, I'm a teacher in high school. I've been teaching for more than 2 decades. And then I'm the founder of the Pink Umbrella Women Empowerment Seminars. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us and for the amazing work you are doing with your team, your sisters here. Thank you for being with us today. Um, the next person can go. We don't have to go in according to. So otherwise, I can call your names, but I would prefer you go based on your turn.
Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning,
Um,
Angelina.
my name is Madifuto Angelina Molete. Molete is the surname from my husband's side, but my maiden name is Tele. I'm a departmental head in a high school. I teach English and Sesotho, but also I'm still a student studying honors in education, law, and policy. And I'm a linguistic by profession, and then I converted to teaching. And I'm a firm believer in promoting African languages. So I believe in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angelina. Thanks for being with us today on Focus on Liberia. Who's going to go next? Tandy? Oh, sorry.
Okay, let me go first before Utandi. My name is Mpumbisa Dlamlenze. My middle name is Success Dlamlenze. I am a passionate person on women's and children's rights. Currently, I'm working on the railway. I've been working on the railway. Oh my God, in the railway industry for more than 22 decades, 22 years now. I've worked in several positions, but now I'm currently on the management side, line management side. I live in Emelo, Mpumalanga. It's a province outside. It's a province outside Gauteng in South Africa. Yeah, that's me generally. A mother, a woman, a passionate one.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Focus on Liberia on the program A New Day. Tandy, can you go, please? Is Tandy there or she's frozen?
Tandy, can you hear us?
I think she's frozen. She probably can hear us, but she's frozen. Okay. All right, viewers. So we have a full house, as you can see. We have a full house from the Pink Umbrella, a South African-based organization that is doing, like I say, really amazingly. You heard from a few of our guests introducing themselves, each of them doing just awesome in their little corners of the world, and together they form under the Pink Umbrella, and they just recently did an event, and there were really interesting topics that were discussed. Tandy, are you really ready to introduce yourself? We were just talking until you got ready to join us. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Okay, she's still frozen. Uh, well, ladies, so what happening inside first I want to chit chat before we go to into the questions or the conversation. I mean, it's all part of the conversation. So before we came on, I was telling Angelina about my time in South Africa. I think your country is beautiful. I love your country. It was cold, and and that's what I saw. At least that was different from Liberia. And I remember on campus we avoided the trees because it provided shades, and we're already cold. We were looking for places where there were no trees or shades so the sun could hit us. Um, and then and interestingly, I say that was where I saw a lot of right hand. Is it right hand wheel you use? Is your standard the car that you use? Right? No, left hand also.
Mm,
Yes, we use right hand. We are right-handed, unlike you guys who are left-handed. So
Yeah.
we
Mm.
keep right and pass left.
I know. So every time we try to get in a taxi, we had to catch ourselves. We're going this way, and they're like, "No, we're supposed to be going on the other way." That was an interesting, new learning experience for us. Yeah, but for the most part, it really is a beautiful country, and with really resilient people, brave. Um, we admire you. I personally, going through your history, the struggle, and just learning about your heroes, and it was just amazing. It was just an amazing and enriching experience for me, and it has left an indelible mark on my professional life and on my mind. So I'm so excited to be interacting with you on this platform, and to
Wow.
yeah to just share with you that I enjoy staying in your country. I was in Grahamstown. At Rose University, got to go to Pretoria for church service, and but basically I was confined on campus and in the campus area.
Wow. Interesting.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Interesting.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So recently you had this event, and I follow you, and I was sharing as Esther may have told you. So I was like, yeah, let's talk about this. What do you mean by letting go? So why did you choose that the theme for the program, letting go?
Okay. Priscilla, the start. Let me start by telling you how the pink umbrella came into being. The pink
Okay,
umbrella started off by the story of a woman who has seen that life has many faces. and that woman is me. I survived quite a number of things, and then the most devastating challenge in my life is when I lost my two sons in 2 consecutive years. Then I was like, oh God, am I really praying? Is there anything wrong that I've done? Is this a punishment or what? But then, fortunately, there was this woman who came to me that said, you know what? When you lost a child, you don't heal. You don't heal. You only have to learn to live with the pain. Like when you have two arms and suddenly maybe you lose the right one, then you are only left with this one. And then you have to learn how to use this one. But every time you look on the right-hand side, you still remember, oh, I lost this arm. And then one other thing that she said to me was, when you are married, when you lose your husband, it's easy to understand. It's not easy to understand, but you have a pillar to hold on to that, you know what, when we get married, they said that one day death will separate you. So every time you cry for your husband, you will remember that, oh, they said death will separate us. So death has arrived. I've lost my partner. So you will run to that pillar and hold on to it all, but they said so. But then when it comes to children, nobody's telling you that one day you're going to lose your child. Or one day we are expecting that children are going to grow, complete tertiary, get married, and you have your grandchildren. But suddenly you don't have that. And then that is the biggest pain, the stab at heart as a parent. And then one other thing, for the pink umbrella to start, I survived an accident that could have killed me or put me on a wheelchair. I was lying in bed in pain after the operation. And, when you are lying in bed and you are very sick like that, you have enough time to reflect on your life, because we don't do that. We normally don't do that because we are busy. We are so busy. And even the world around us is so chaotic. You hardly have time to reflect on your life. So I had enough time to look back and reflect on my life. And then I realized that there are so many challenges that I went through, but I survived. I'm still standing. I thank God that I'm still standing. And then I looked at women that I know, women around in my family, women around that I know, women that I read about, the books that I read, for an example, Buchi Emecheta, The Joys of Motherhood. When you look at the title, Joys of Motherhood, you will be excited. But read the book, you realize that the struggles upon another struggle of a woman. And then I read also a Senegalese woman who wrote so long a letter, Miriam Abba. Miriam Abba, when you read that book, it's painful, struggles of a woman. Then it came into my mind, oh, okay, truly, this is our journey. Every woman has a story to tell. And then I said that, why not I start a platform where women can just come and converge and talk about issues that affect us as women. Not only issues that affect us, but also celebrate our strength. Because I have realized that women are very strong beings. That's how the pink umbrella came into being. And then letting go, obviously, the last time we had another theme, but this time is letting go. So we need to understand that whatever that happens in your life, you cannot just get stuck there. You need to move forward. Because I realized when I lost my children, there was a time whereby it was like I'm walking in a trench. I could not move past the pain. I was just stuck for many years. Then it came into my mind that I'm not the only one. There are quite a number of women who go through such. So why not have this platform whereby women come and then we talk about these issues? There are people who are brave enough to talk about their pain, but there are those who find it very difficult to open up. But then from the testimonies that I got from Angelina from the previous event with the theme letting go, she told me quite amazing things about what other women were saying during the network time, but that I will leave it to her to tell us. So thank you very much. That's how the Pink Umbrella came into being. And still a baby, this is the third year. And we meet only twice a year, March, International Women's Month, and then October, we have what we call the Day of the Girl Child. And then who are these girls? These girls are us. We were once those girls. Today they are
Yeah.
our daughters. They are our grandchildren, our daughter-in-law. So that is why we are having the seminar in October and then in March in International Women's Month. All right, thank you, Priscilla.
Of course, of course. Oh, I am so humble and fascinated by, um, I don't even know what to say about your story, but I'm just amazed. So thank you, and I'm sorry for your loss of your children, um, and
Well,
everything you had to go through to get to this point.
mm,
Uh, and I'm
mm,
amazed by your strength, and I'm humbled by your resilience and to be in your presence to share the platform and to even have you as a member of a noonday support group that we have on Messenger. So it's just been an enriching experience to be connected to you, Esther, over the year and to get to know you, to learn from you as we learn from each other. So um, thank
mm,
you. It's an
mm.
honor to know you and to be connected.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Angelina, you want to tell us what does the pink umbrella represent to you, or the topic letting go? Esther mentioned that you told her you shared with her some stories. Do you want to tell us about those?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Priscilla. Before I can tell you about those stories, let me start first here. I remember it was in 2021, and then it was around September, whereby I had lost my grandmother, who was almost everything to me because I had lost my mother when I was around 10 years old. So she continued to raise me as her own daughter, while I continued through life until I went to university, until I got married. My first child, she was there and everything. She was like a mother to me.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And then, yes, I remember the time it was during the mourning period before the burial. So Ous Maisie came to my place to pay her respect as per our culture in South Africa. We come to see you if you have a funeral. So she came and then she could see I was not that well. And then after the funeral, I went back to work because we only have 5 days leave allowed for family responsibility. And when I went back to work, things were falling apart. Worse than when I was still there at home on the mattress, paying my respect to my grandmother. And then I was no longer focusing at work. The only thing I could do most of the time was to cry. And then sometimes I will even go to her office where she usually stay during the day. And then we will talk about loss and all of that. And I will tell her, yo, I'm really, really not coping with this loss. I thought at that time I felt much stronger, but currently I'm feeling at a loss. It's much. I'm feeling the reality now of not having her around, not being able
Mm,
to go and see her. So
sad.
then she told me, okay, you know what? I have this organization that you can come to. I will invite you so that you can be part of us. We're having a topic which is letting go. And then I remember it was around October in 2022 when we talked about that. And then I went to attend the event. And then that was the most life changing thing ever. because at the time I was not ready to let go, and I couldn't find I can people to share this pain with, or people who can be
Understand.
able, yes, understand what I'm going through, because most people will be saying, no, this is part of life, you can get over
Mm,
it, we all went through this, we've lost our loved ones, so this will heal. But I was telling them, this, I've went through a loss of my
mm,
mother at 10 years, and then this one is different from that one, because that one I was still young, I was still a child around that time when I lost her. But with this one, I am really, really not coping. And then I
mm,
went there. I remember one of the speakers was Aus Baby. I forgot her surname. And then she was talking about the loss of her husband. And then that touched me in such a way to understand, oh, there are other women who have went through this. I'm not the first one to go through this. And then I'm not expecting them to tell me this is part of life. I just want to understand their experience by them narrating their
mhm,
story. And
mm,
this will definitely make an impact. So that's how I experienced Pink Umbrella, and then I became a part of Ambassadors of Hope. So this during this year's event, we were also talking about letting go, and then one of the speakers was Ausumpo, and then we also had Austandi as speakers. They were also talking about the same of letting go. After the event, we were networking, enjoying the food, networking with each other, and then I remember I was sitting with this lady. She's using crutches to walk. So she told me, you know what, this, we need events like this, we need organizations like this, whereby we believe these are safe spaces for us to share our experiences, and then we also get an opportunity to be understood by people who went through the same experiences. And I asked, why
mhm,
are you saying that? She said, no, you know what? While the speakers were speaking there, I could associate myself with what they're saying, because it is more similar to
mhm,
my experience. So we need more of this in our community, where we live, where we are, so that we have a safe space to share our experiences. So and then to also learn from others' experiences. That's what I got from other ladies. They were very happy with the event. They felt like that it is making such a great impact in their lives.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Angeline.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I agree with you that we need, when you said, I just wanted a space where, a safe space where I can hear people share their experience, and they will also listen. That means they will also listen to me without saying, hey, everybody, have gone through this, because that's a for me, that's a language of dismissal. Get over it, move on. And
Mm.
I know
Mm,
sometimes we
mm,
do that from a good place, well meaning. People want to see you okay. But most times we just don't have the right voice, especially if it hasn't been our experience. So I
Mm.
totally agree with you. I've had my own share of experience, and I usually write on it for people to be telling people, oh, it is well. Oh, everybody has gone through it. Everybody is not me. I'm not everybody. In our
mm,
relationship, are different
mm,
with the people we lost. So if I'm talking about I lost my loved one, I don't want to hear you telling me, oh, I lost my loved one too,
mm,
in
mm.
this. I don't know the dynamics of the relationship you have with your loved one. Now that's
Absolutely.
so yeah, over
Absolutely.
the years I've had to struggle with that, and now I read about that. And so I totally get where you come from when you say, I just really wanted a space where I'll feel safe. Now hear people and don't hear someone saying everyone has gone through this. Because I don't care whether everyone has gone through it. This is me, and this is my mom, or this is my grandma, or this
Mm,
is my child, or this is my spouse.
mhm,
So you can sit
Mm.
in my pain with me. If it makes you uncomfortable, or you don't have the right voice to identify with me, then be quiet. But you know, show some
Yes.
respect for my pain, or let me grieve. So yeah, it's a good thing that Sis Esther, thought about on doing that, and your
mm,
habit is gonna
mm.
save space to support each other. I think it's amazing. So thank you for sharing,
Yeah,
Angelina. Who
you are
wants to
welcome.
who wants to go next? Our sister Bisa, you wanna go next?
Okay, I will go next. Ne?
Okay.
For me, the pink umbrella, when it started, ne, I I saw Usis Meiji, me and Meiji share a clan name. We're both Shamases. So we've been friends on the Facebook. So I asked Uguchi, what was it? How could we help? And then she invited me as a speaker for the Pink Umbrella. So I was confused. Actually, I think it had been, other than addressing people at work, I had not addressed an event for a long time. So for me, the pink umbrella on letting go. For me, the pink umbrella, it's where we gather uh, through the storms of our lives that we experience in our lives. It's
Mm-hmm.
where we get shelter. It's where we get shelter to be able to get that shade. You know, when the sun is scorching and you want a shade. Figuratively in our lives, that's also what happens. And in the pink umbrella, you find that you find that you are able to connect with these women from different spheres of
Mm,
life with different
mm,
experiences. That's where we learn, that's where we grow, that's where we learn even to let go of our pain, our daily pain. We
mm,
experience pain differently. In our workplace, we experience pain. In our families, we experience pain.
mm,
And in our
mm,
lives, we experience pain, we experience betrayals.
Hmm.
So on the umbrella, we experience betrayals from friends, from family, from work, in the workplace, uh, and in the community, from even our leaders. As
mhm,
women, we experience that pain, we experience betrayal. So the pink umbrella is where you are able to say, "This is what I've gone through."
True.
Uh, yeah, and that's a safe space where your healing began. I think in 2020, our theme in 2020 or 2021, our theme was healing. That's where you get your healing. That's where your healing first begins. To say, I
Hmm.
have to let go. Sometimes we have even things that you also, as a person, you set up and said, I I have this goal, and maybe you are not achieving that goal. It's where you are able to say, let me heal and let me go and let me let this thing go so that I can go forward. I can be able to look and have a future and start afresh.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And and
Totally.
and and we give space to even young girls. Because if we don't heal as mothers and as sisters, as big sisters in the families, in the workplace,
mhm,
we will pass
mm,
that trauma to the young
mhm,
ones, about to our young
Exactly.
mhm,
ones. So the
mhm,
pink umbrella enable us that space to say, "Gucci, we've experienced this trauma, we've experienced these betrayals, we've experienced these pains, about this letdown. Okay, let us heal as women and let go. And let us also not pass what we have experienced to our
So
young ones." Yes.
exactly.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, that's just. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The fact that you came up with that idea to do that. Because you know what? We can do all the advocacy. We can do every other thing. We can try to succeed academically, professionally. But if our mental health is neglected, um,
mm, mm. Mm,
we
mm,
shutting
mm,
ourselves in the leg.
mm,
Because you have to be in the right frame of mind to maintain, to sustain whatever progress that you are making professionally, and socially, or in whatever way, even economically. So yeah, that's just an awesome way to take care of our mental health. Is really a great idea, that you thought among yourselves like, hey, we need to do something about our mental health, because most times when there are intervention into women's right, or good governance issues, or democracy issue, or helping the government, or in whatever way, most times the mental health aspect is not really prioritized. So to sit among
mm,
yourselves and say, yeah, let's create a space where we can help each other heal. I think to say it's amazing is putting it madly. So yeah, thank you so much for the initiative and for the efforts, and for how far you have come so far. Since Esther said just 3 years, I can see you're going places, because I've been following from last year. Was it last year
mm,
or 2021? She featured, you featured me, I think 2021 or 2022.
20,
So yeah, so
2021.
I'm a fan. I've been following. And then since Esther shares
Mm,
with our private noonday group, where we do similarly, support each other. And she really
mm.
shares a whole great deal of wisdom. So yeah, so I'm an admirer, just so you know. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
we'll move on to the
Thank
next
you.
person. We'll move on to the next person. Is Tandy available now to share? Otherwise, or who else? Otherwise, we can move on to the next question. Who else is there and wants to share? Do we have anyone on? For now, it looks like it's just the three of you. Um, so tell your story and heal others listening. And I think that's why you did, sharing your stories, and together we can heal. Allow yourself to grow in the ocean of your challenges.
Mhm.
So somebody wants to take this. What apparently we already said something about it, but just to stress or to nail it home, what is allow yourself to grow in the ocean of your challenges? What does that mean? I know that was one of the topics discussed at the event.
Okay,
Oh,
maybe we're gonna share this with other, other ladies. But oh, the ocean is vast water, and as much as it looks beautiful or calm, but it's dangerous. It has dangerous creatures down there. And then when you look at life, life is beautiful, it's enjoyable, but then life also, we do have challenges, challenges upon challenges, things that will brought you down, things that will break you into pieces. But then when you leave, we want you to understand that challenges do come and pass, and challenges are there to teach us. Your challenges are your story, and from your story, you grow. Allow to grow from your story. Never allow your challenges to bring you
so
down. You need to grow. They are there to build you. I am who I am today because of my story. Paul is who she is today because of her story. Yourself, Priscilla, you have a story to tell. You have grown from your stories. And that is why we have people who were there in the dark, people who were there who experienced these traumas and everything. They heal and come and tell their stories. So you need to grow from your challenges. Ask yourself, what am I learning from this? Or what have I
mm,
learned from that? never allow it to bury you. And that, in short, I can just say that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone else wants to add to that?
For me, I will
Otherwise,
say, Oguti, if yeah, for me, I will say, Oguti, if you don't go to the ocean with your challenges, how are you going to get your oysters? How are you going to get your pearls? Because that's where you're going to get your pearls.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you stay aboard on the or on the sand, you don't, and your challenge is inside the ocean. How are you going? How are you not going? How are you going to get your oysters? How are you going to find the biggest pearl? Because that's
Hmm.
where you will swim and you will find your pearl and you will come back victorious.
Yeah. 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 That's true. I agree. Totally, I agree. You got to get wet in order to be able to get your prey out of the ocean. So I agree to that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
so number three, you had, and the other topic was on femininity and energy. Femininity and energy should be a woman's crown. These topics were okay. So I'm intrigued. So I'll just leave it like that. So you explain to us what do you mean by femininity and energy should be a woman's crown?
That was Pompisa's topic, and I believe she
Indeed.
can elaborate. That I learned a
Yeah.
lot from that.
Yes.
I learned a lot. She was the one unpacking femininity and energy should be a
Mhm.
woman's crown. Mm.
Yeah. Um. Do we have her? Mm.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Oh. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm still here. I'm still here. You know, when the topic was given to me, I was, okay, a crown. Okay, many people associate the crown with reality. But when we go
Mm.
deep to our history, particularly as Africans, we have reality in our blood, our
Yeah.
DNA. If you go back, we also have reality. But crown is associated with royalty and kings. However, you have women. Africa is full of them. Abu Queen Zina, Queen Cleopatra, Abu Queen Sheba. And as African women, we work hard.
We do.
Mm.
And when we work hard, uh, we are we are the most working hard. Our mothers, our grandmothers have worked so hard, and we deserve to be
Yeah, I'm
crowned.
on load shedding. I'm on load shedding,
You've just
guys.
gone
Hey,
to
my
load
lights are
shedding,
off now. Mm.
but is your network working, Miles?
My network is still working because I can hear you. I can see
Okay,
you.
okay. But is that our crown is associated with masculinity? The crown itself is associated with masculinity. And
Mm.
as women, I have said to you, I work on the rail industry. The rail industry is a very male dominated industry. That when you go there as a woman, you must never lose your femininity. Your femininity must be the one that guides you because it's the one that nurtures, it's the one that brings life on earth. So wherever you are, your crown must always be to say, Gucci, I'm going to be victorious. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be victorious. I'm going to also have this pain to also uphold this suffering of the crown, within the crown, this suffering, this pain, but I'm going to come out victorious. But I'm also going to ensure that I don't lose my femininity. Because I'm a woman, I'm here. I'm going to make sure that femininity, the beauty, is there. I'm living it. I'm making sure that this place, because there's now a woman, there's going to be nurturing, there's going to be love, there's going to be happiness, and there's not going to be suffering. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Ooh, I know. I just that is that yeah, that is awesome.
Oh,
You
yes.
can find
Yeah, can
yourself
I also,
in
yeah, sorry, Priscilla, can I also add is that as women also we work hard, but we don't acknowledge that. We don't acknowledge that, and I'm saying that let our femininity be acknowledged, and let people know that we are also the crown in itself. Without us, there is no life.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
totally, totally I agree.
Priscilla, can I add on what she said?
Go ahead, sure.
Yes, on that day, she unpacked the topic in such a marvelous way. Yo, it was such an amazing speech that she made, which inspired a lot of ladies. And then I remember one of the points that she talked about was that, wearing this crown requires you to be humble, especially in order to navigate in this life. Humbleness is required. So I remember at the end, I was emceeing the event. I was the master of ceremony on that day. So I remember asking the ladies that in our African culture, there's a saying that says, but it's in Sesotho. I'll translate it. It says, "Banna batintana tiya." It means that those traditional pants that are worn by Africans, especially you can see them Zulus are wearing them. They are made out of cowhide. Those are our traditional trousers, but they are just short. So that's what the
Okay.
meaning says. It says men they gather together to assist one another to wear those, especially when you have a problem. But with us women, you can see our culture was always based on patriarchy. It never
Mm,
considered women because we also needed something that will talk about how women assist one another. And then after
Yeah.
she unpacked the topic piece by piece by piece by piece, and I said, you know what? With what you have just said about the crown being this important item for women, I've just realized that we as women, we will have to gather here so that we polish our crowns. Sometimes we forget that we are wearing them because of this ocean of storm that we are going through. So we
Mm-hmm.
gather here, polish them, and then we put them on our head. Sometimes you don't have a mirror with yourself to see, okay, is it nicely on my head or what? But with your sister right by your side, she can definitely help you to adjust that. This is what Pink Umbrella is about. Being in a safe space to share your problems, to polish your crown. Remember who you are as a woman. The challenges are not who you are, but they are just part of the journey that you have to it's some of the things that you meet on the journey that you have to go through, but at the end of the day you do not lose discount because of these challenges. And she nicely explained that topic on that day. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, sure. Yeah, wow. Oh, you see? Iron sharpened iron, they say. I think there's something from the Bible kind of stand. I'm using it as a standalone. But yeah, I agree. I totally agree with what you are saying. We need to support each other. We need to build each other and strengthen each other. Esther gone off, but the other just 2 days ago also we were talking in a noonday private group room, and we're talking about how, like you said, the patriarchy cuts across culture, geography, professions, social status, and everything, um and religion. So how that space is to it incorporates everyone, whether from Liberia, from South Africa, from Islam, from Christian, from journalism, from teaching profession. And we're just talking about, because at the end of the day, we're all are navigating the world the men hijacked through systems and structures. And the setup is patriarchy, and we have to navigate patriarchy. And how do we do it without so that in a way that we support each other, even while we speak
Yes.
different languages, even while we belong to different religions. So yeah, and without losing ourselves. One thing she said, you may be operating in a patriarchal setup, whether it's professional or career. Don't lose your crown, so that you don't lose your niche, because at the end of the day, you're a woman and you have your own qualities that distinguish you from a man, human. Even though we are all human beings and we should all be treated equal, but at the end of the day, we have features and that distinguish us. Physically is obvious, right? And in a lot of ways, so just make sure don't lose it, so that you stand out. So yeah, that's just great lesson, a valuable lesson for us to be reminded of. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Um, so with all the stories that we have, each of all have stories. So I bet that's why after you identify, look, we all have stories, and these are the stories, and we told the stories. Now, how can we rewrite our narrative and own our power? Because it's a one thing to have story, for something to happen to you, for it to be my story, but it's another thing for me to tell it, so that it's told from my perspective, so that my dignity, my humanity is seen through it, so that it is about me, so that it's put out there the way I want it. um yeah, and so that I have that power, and it's another thing for another person to tell it. So what was the idea that came behind this, and this other presentation, uh rewrite your narrative and own your power? Or how did it speak to you, Angelina?
To me, was that rewriting your own narrative, was that it came to me in such when the speakers were speaking about it, they were telling their own stories and narrating them in their own ways, in which we can also familiarize ourselves with. So by telling their own stories, it is another part of letting go, because sometimes if you keep this thing inside of you, it's bottled up, and it's it's like a time bomb. It's like a ticking time bomb that can go off at any time. Sometimes you find that people who go through worst experiences and they never talk about them, they sometimes take drastic decisions. They will end their lives, they will end the lives of their loved ones. But the moment you start talking, it can be talking with someone, a stranger on the bus, you are writing your own narrative in such a way you are no longer letting the problem or the bad experience control you, but now you are sharing it with someone. And then that narrative that you are narrating it to someone, it can also have an impact. Like I said, with that lady, she said, you know what? I never realized that there are such spaces where we can share our experiences without having the fear of knowing that we will be laughing stock in our communities, or our stories will be used in a bad way that will feel very inferior because we shared our experiences. So what I learned was that, while I remember one of the speakers, Austandi Moli, sharing her experience, I so wish she could access, but due to load shedding, she can't. Sharing her experience of being raped at the age of 5 years, and then you realize, I am a mother. I have a daughter who's 3 years old, that I'm worried about this thing of rape that is going on in our communities. But as nothing is being done to curb these acts of evilness. And her story touched me in such a way that, you know what, through the storm that she went through, now the narrative that now she's giving us today, it's making an impact that you can never be your problems, but you choose to write your narrative. Is either you become the victim for the rest of your life, or you go in another route whereby you teach, you become someone who makes awareness of such. Because from that story I learned, you know what, I have to take care of my daughter. She talked about how her mother used to go around telling everybody about her experience, how she was raped and all of that. And then she felt somehow because of this. And then the day she died, she felt some sort of relievness that she's gone, and she will no longer be going everywhere telling them about my experience without asking permission from me. And that's how she wrote. Now today she can tell anyone. She doesn't feel any inferior from what happened to her, but she now has the power to tell her story and say, I
Herself.
survived this. And
Yeah.
you can, there's life after rape, but you need to find a way to mold yourself back together, gather the strength, and do this after that evil experience. Thank
Yeah. 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 Oh my word. That's yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. People, your experience should be told on your terms, on
you.
your terms, whether it's your mother or it's your brother. Your experience, your story is your story, your experience is your experience. Few weeks ago we're talking something like that, having another conversation, and then and then I said something about because we had a war in our country and we had TRC hearing, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And then I learned about a man who went to the TRC and then shared the story about how his mother and his daughters and his sisters and his wife were raped in his presence. And then so they felt bad for him. He was crying, so they were all weeping. And so I was sharing with this person that is a horrible story. That is really a horrible thing. He said the soldier was trying to get at this man, and he raped his women folks in his presence. And I thought that was horrible. Uh, but then I was telling the person what much more horrible is that we ignore those who really suffered, because it's actually the women that the act was done against. So this is
Mm,
their story and this is their pain. But because the patriarchy has trained us that when I'm hurt, then it's supposed to be a shame to my husband. So that's how women get ignored. I'm the one who suffer abuse. But then
mm,
because this plays out in a way where the other way is that then the men feel that or his ego or his pride have been bruised. So some of them don't want the women again because she was raped. So now I don't feel like a man in my society. But if it wasn't for patriarchy, it wouldn't be about the man pride or his ego or what have you. The fact will remain that another human being was hurt in the person. Who was that? It was a woman. Uh, um so he doesn't get to be telling the story in as much as he was affected. But because we train like that, that's why four women will be hurt for one man to prove a point to another man. Because if the soldier wanted to get against him, he should have raped him. Then it would just be one person you did damage to. But it's the same patriarchy that disadvantaged women. So a man is trying to hurt another man, and he ended up raping four women, even though they were his man, his wife, and his daughters. But those women shouldn't have suffered because one man wants to hurt another man. Um,
mm,
and it becomes his story. So so whether your mother or your who, if you were raped, at the time you want to tell your story should be when you can tell your story, and tell it on your own term, and tell it in your own way, from your own perspective. Because story,
mm,
uh, our stories are the only power left with us when something happened to us, or something happened, yeah, about us.
mm,
Your survivor, part of your survivor is owning that and telling it, you know.
mm,
So it's so great that you have that, to have that space to be able to share a lot more that we cannot share here. Let's see whether we can get Tandy again. We'll try her this time around. If we can, then we'll just wrap up because we're going to 1 hour. We'll just wrap up with your final voice. So let's try again, see whether we can get her on. I just added her. I love her. She's frozen. She really wants to be a part. Hey, Tani, can you hear us? Tandy, we lost her again. You just saw her. She was just there, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she was just yeah. Oh Lord, I wish she could come on
She
so
was
that
here.
she.
While she was still trying to get her, there was something that she also shared. Was
I
that
know, I know.
yeah?
She's
This
been
is my
trying.
story. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, we got her again. Tandy, can you hear us? Can you hear us? We're going to give you time. Let's see whether there are some comments to read. Someone say, but watching from. Hey, Tandy. Um, can you hear us? Boynon is watching from PA. Thank you, Boynon, for joining us. Tandy, can you hear us? If you can hear us, can you say something, please? Wele say hi, folks. Hi, Wele. Thank you for joining us. Um, Ed Jeans, Blay say monitoring from CT. I don't know where that is. Emmanuel Jackson say watching from work. Thank you, Emmanuel. Um, we're still trying to see whether we can get um, another guest on who has a lot to share. She's a pastor as well. So ladies, I think we will. I wouldn't want to keep you because I know it's evening in South Africa right now, right?
Yes,
Is
it's
is it
evening.
is it? Is it past?
Yes,
Yes.
it's
Is
evening.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Um, yeah. We can. Do you know what, Tandy? If we can get you today, we can always have you're coming back. They keep saying device not connected. We can always have your coming back, and because we'll definitely want to hear you and the other ladies share with us your own experiences. Honestly, I'm trying to get your own. We just can't get your own. Uh, so we're going to wrap up because we passed 1 hour. So we're going to check with Angelina if you have any word to close us. We're just sorry that the other ladies can join us. But yeah, we will have to go. So please, what any last comment, anything you want to share with us?
May you please start with awesome first. I'll go last.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So go ahead, sister, and give us your last word.
Okay. Thank you, Priscilla, for hosting us, and thanks for the opportunity that you afforded us to
No, it's
explain
okay.
to explain ourselves for the pink
I
umbrella.
learned today from you. So yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. We hope one day we will visit us and we will visit you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Africa is. We need to learn one another. We need to learn from each other.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Angelina.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Aus Priscilla, for giving me this opportunity to talk about Pink Umbrella as an ambassador of hope, and then to share my experience of what I've experienced since I've become a member of Pink Umbrella, and then to
Mhm.
share stories about what we women, especially African women, are going, because I can hear from what you're saying that whatever we're experiencing in South Africa, it's still almost the same experience that is experienced by women all over the world. So
Yes, sir.
sharing these stories is a way of
May I
uh,
interrupt you quick?
oh, okay, no problem.
Did Esther say that there are women from Namibia? So I forgot to ask this. The members of Pink Umbrella is not just from South Africa, correct?
No, they are all over the world. I could see that one of them is Bunyo. I think she's in Germany. She's a nurse. So you
In
did
Germany?
acknowledge her. Yes, yes, she's part. I
Oh,
think
wow.
she's watching this live. So we
Thank
have
you.
memberships all over the world. So it shows that Pink
So can you
Umbrella
please
is.
help me just give hands up to your members because I don't know where everyone is from. So our sister from Germany, hands up. Thank you for joining us and watching us. And then the sister from Namibia. Sorry, we tried to. Esther said you were trying to get on. Thank you for joining us and our sisters from other parts of the world where and Angelina can go ahead and name them as you close. But let's acknowledge them, please.
Yes, I remember those
Yes.
two, but there are so many of them, even in South Africa. South Africa is divided into provinces, so they are all over. Like I was, she's from Pumalanga, and then I'm in the Free State. So we are very scattered, but we do come together when we have events. So
Thanks.
it is a very a worldwide wide movement that we are working
Okay.
on.
Oh
Yes.
wow. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Uh Tandy is not giving up. Tandy, can you hear us? We're just sending shout out to our sister. I see movement.
Yes.
She's frozen.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think the
so we're
network
going to
is
give
very bad.
yeah, it is. We're going to give shout out to our sisters as we wrap up. So audience, you've been watching a new day on Focus on Liberia. On a new day, we talk about issues in our society and that adversely affect women and girls disproportionately. And but it's not just a woman talk; it's a societal issue. How can we, as a society, how can we renew our minds? How can we shift our perspective and the way we see women and girls. So we've had on the program today our sisters from the Pink Umbrella. It's a women movement that started from South Africa. It was funded by our sister Esther. She went off. She's a writer as well, and I'm going to share the names so that if you want, you can follow these ladies. Each of them are doing so awesome in the little corners, and then they come together under the Pink Umbrella. They have members in Germany, they have members in Namibia, like you heard Angelina. They have members all around it's becoming a global movement, and it was just started by this humble sister that had the experiences that she started with when we started the conversation today. She lost two of her sons, as a mother, she devastated, and then had another experience, and then just sat there and said, I think there are others out there that may have some experiences. Let me start a space where we can share. And today they all are coming together and supporting each other, taking care of addressing the issue that most of the time can be neglected as we work in intervening for women and girls issue around the world. That issue is mental health. So Pink Umbrella is addressing that. Created a space where that is safe for people to share and build each other and rewrite the stories and tell the stories on their own terms. So thank you, sisters. Yeah, thank you so much. I can't say thank you enough for your making the time all the way from South Africa this evening to join me. It has been a pleasure. It has been a learning experience listening to you. Thank you for coming on your day today.
Thank you very much, Priscilla.
All right. All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank
Ah,
you.
thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Lord, you said in your word, I should forget, yeah, the former things. You said, behold, you are about to do a new thing. You said you will do something new in my life. All the eyes of them that see it will marvel. But my enemies are shame, Lord. Please give me a new day. Give me a new day. Give me a new day. I don't want yesterday. All I want is a new day. Yesterday broke my heart. Yesterday brought me peace and frustration. I don't want yesterday. All that I want is a new day. Give me a new day. Give me a new day. Put my enemies to shame. Yahweh, please give me a new day. Give me a new day, God. Whatever sin I have committed, have mercy on me.